This video is going to cover adding resources to your Moodle site or your Moodle class. As with everything, make sure that you turn editing on over here. Once you turn editing on, you have all these icons that load up for you. And at the bottom of every single week or block or whatever you call it, you're going to see this one link down here that can kind of manage adding or completing just about any kind of task. Add an activity or resource is what you see. You click on that and then you're going to see a whole slew of activities down the left hand side and resources down towards the bottom. So adding just about anything this way is quite straightforward for the most part. So what I'm going to do is show you how to add just a file to your course. I'm going to click on File here. Hit Add, which is way down here at the bottom. You can barely see it. Let me drag my screen up just a tiny bit. There we go. You click on the Add button right down here at the bottom, and it's going to load my editor where I can name this file. I'll name it appropriately. There we go. And I scroll down just a little bit, and you're going to see that in this content area, you actually have the ability to upload a file or select a file from your hard drive, much like you would if you were attaching something to an email. It's just that easy. You'll notice that you can do a couple of different things here to get your file into the system. Actually, you can hit the Add button. You can create a folder of content right here, or you can draw from files that may exist already in your system. The final one that you can do, and this is the one that you can see they're trying to get you to realize or remember that you can do this, is you can just drag a file or a resource directly onto this item. So I can come over here onto my desktop like this, and I could actually just take this photo and drag it right in here, and you see that there's a green plus button for me that indicates that. Or I can drag a PDF document or a JPEG. Just about any kind of file type is going to be acceptable to Moodle, and you can just drag and drop it in there. The alternate option, like I said, is to hit Add up here, and this is that method that we were used to when I was speaking of adding an attachment to an email. So I can go in here, choose a file, rummage through my all of my data on my computer, all the files, file system manager, and find a PDF, a Word file, whatever it is you would like to upload. You find it, and then you can upload that file by just clicking on the Upload This File. And not only does it put it into this space right here, where then you can manage some of these options for how it's going to display, whether or not it's visible to students right away, and the access piece here. But after you hit Save and Display, that document is actually going to be in your files to use in other classes. It's sort of like a giant storage folder. But I'm going to show you an alternate method to all of this that is actually easier than just about anything for some of us that are used to dragging and dropping at least. So I'm going to cancel out of this. If I was going to save it, obviously at the bottom I would have hit Save. But instead I'm going to show you how I can just take something like a PDF that is sitting on my desktop right over here. You can hardly see it, it's off my screen, but I'll drag it onto the screen. Sitting on my desktop right here. Even without going to this Add an Activity resource, you'll notice when I drag this document over the top of my course, I get that green plus button right away, which is extremely nice. And actually, if your web browser is functioning a little bit better than mine is currently, you might even see it showing you where exactly it's going to drop it, like in between these two different activities. But I'm going to drop it in here so you can see what happens. You'll see that it actually dropped that PDF in right down here at the bottom. Always drops it at the bottom if you can't tell where it's going to drop it, or when you go to add an activity, it always throws it down at the bottom. But like I said, when your web browser is working a little bit better than mine is right now, a lot of times you can hover over and decide where it's actually going to drop right in your weekly or your unit section. So now I have this, and I can certainly move this up to where it belongs using my move tool up and down and decide that I want it to go into a different spot. But really adding a resource is just that easy. Either go through the activity resource like this, scroll down to the bottom, pick File, and add resource that way, or even add an entire folder if you'd want to, or use that drag and drop methodology.